Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Get Dirty Garage. Today we got a new project to take on. Well, not new project, but new stuff to try. So I've never done this before, but time to clean up the frame and try and make it worthy, I guess, prettier. So anyways, I set the body down on a couple of plastic sawhorses and some broken plywood and 2x4s, but what could go wrong with that? And borrowed the rotisserizer thing here and mounted up the frame. And I think today I'm gonna wheel this thing outside and try my hand at sandblasting and cleaning this thing up. So we'll see what we got to work with there, and we'll kind of show you what's next. But we got a ton to do, so let's go ahead and let's get dirty. Is this thing on? Yeah. Alright, well, first things first, kind of show you what my setup is here. Just spread out a big old tarp outside. You know, the humidity is pretty good today. It's down to 312%, so should be good to go, but it's a little bit overcast, so it won't be nearly as hot. And got a cheap pot blaster thing from Horrible Freight, and some fancy rubber gloves. Even got one of those hood things, keep the pretty face going. But yeah, then just got some blasted material. I think that was from Tractor Supply, and so we're just gonna roll the frame outside and see what we can do to make it shiny again or something like that. So we will go from there. I remember saying something stupid about this rotisserie was long enough to fit a bus, but it just barely fits a El Camino frame. So, of course, El Camino is about most of the length of a bus. But we'll get this thing on here. The reason I put the tarp down was just so I can kind of collect all the sandblast stuff and scoop it up and reuse it. So I already blew this out. The amount of crud that came out of the center of that was just epic. So, but let's get suited and booted and try our hand at some sandblasting. Alright, well, I know this hood is going to be about 2 degrees cooler than the sun, so it's going to be a little bit warm and won't have much microphone availability inside of it, so just going to have to enjoy the music and watch. Alright. Okay, so we got about half of one side done. Looks really good shape. Got some edges I got to clean up, but really no major pits or anything like that. So I think it's going to clean up really nice. And got time to reload, so I'm going to sweep up all this mess and run it through a just an old window screen and dump it back in the tank and continue on. So anyways, looking better. I mean, it's probably a good hour and a half of blasting on this side, and still got some details to do, but cleaning up really good. We'll go from there. Okay, well, we got everything blasted, so and honestly it wasn't too bad. I mean, it took me 7 shirts and 3 showers. You know, I'm a sweater, so, but no, I mean, honestly, took about 6 hours probably of going. It would have gone a lot faster if I could had a wiper on the inside of that hood. I had to stop every 10 minutes and wipe down the hood, and then if I wasn't so cheap, I would have bought more blasting stuff, but I'd swept it up and sifted it out and recycled it 6 different times. So, but I guess that's what happens when you only spend $45 on sand. But no, it looks good. A couple of spots could have been a little bit cleaner, but I'm done. Yeah, close enough. So now I'm just going to blow everything out, try and get as much out of the frame as I can, and we'll wheel this back in the shop and see if we can't get some primer on it while it's fresh. I want to make sure it doesn't have a chance to get any more surface rust or anything. I'm going to put some epoxy on it. So let me blast this thing off, and then we'll get her back in the shop. Okay, I washed this thing down with some pre-wash and mixed up some epoxy and a really old gun that needs the top taped down. So let's put a quick coat of primer on this thing so it doesn't have a chance to re-rust. Okay, well I think that should do for the first coat of primer, and we'll let all that set up and do some more. So, big fun. Okay, so I got 2 coats of primer on everything, and did a quick scuff with like 180 grit on a DA in between coats just to get a few of the pits out. I mean, it's never going to be like a you know, like a exterior panel or anything. There's always going to be some little nicks and things in there, so I can't get everything out, but looks pretty good. I think it's ready for some top coat. I'm going to use what did I get? The ceramic Eastwood chassis paint, something like that. I don't know. Said it was you know, saw it on the interweb, must be good. But anyways, I think I'm just going to clean this up and get ready to put the final coat on. Looking pretty decent, and we'll take a look at it then. So we'll go from there. By the way, you know, I went out for a run last night and had to turn around after 2 minutes because I forgot something. Forgot I was old and fat and couldn't run for more than 2 minutes. Okay, well, let's get some work done. Okay, I'm just going to run a tack rag over everything, get the major chunks off. You said this is not finished exterior work, so you know, you wanted to get the bottom as smooth as possible. You know, got you know, for those minimum wage teenagers in the oil change places, you know, they impress them. But we'll get kind of the major chunks, and then we'll get to spraying this thing off. So just and like I said, I did scuff this with 180 in between coats, but I'm not going to scuff this final coat here. So we'll get this prepped and wiped down, and then do a mix. That Eastwood paint is 4-to-1 ratio, so got to do some math. I don't want to do any math today, but got to do what you got to do. Alright, let me finish cleaning this up on both sides, and then we will get to spraying. Okay, let's sling some paint here. Okay, first coat on. We'll let that sit for 10 minutes and then come back for second round. All right, well, here we are. 2 coats of the ceramic chassis black. This is supposedly satin, so I hope it dulls down a little bit. But it looks pretty good. I mean, most everything is fairly smooth, and repairs and stuff that were made, but I think it looks pretty decent. A little bit glossy, but all in all, I think that will do just fine for the undercarriage. So I think it's in pretty good shape. There's just a few pits here and there, but mostly came out with the primer and some sanding. You know, like I said, I never get every little pit and wiggle out of it, but it's in good shape. Took a ding there once, but I'm not gonna fix that. But the narrowing portion looks good, and everything is like it's supposed to be. So pretty smooth overall. I like it, and I think at this point we will call that frame ready to start being built. So one more thing off the list. Alright guys, well I think that's going to do it for this edition of Let's Get Dirty Garage. Got quite a bit accomplished. Frame cleaned up, sandblasted, primed, sanded, primed, sanded, a little bit primer, and then a couple of coats of chassis black paint. So I think it's pretty enough that we can actually start putting together the stuff that makes it all work. So let me get this down off of the rotisserizer, and we can start putting some stuff together. Should be a good thing. So hey, listen, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, sure appreciate it, and tell me what you think of the progress so far, or lack thereof, or you know, whatever. Tell somebody about the channel, I'd appreciate that. So hey, thanks a bunch for everything, and couldn't do this without you guys, and we'll see you next time. Take care.